originally, 11, 12 years ago, the company started with cocktail mixes. That was how the company originally came up, or I originally decided to start this company was with cocktail mixes. And quickly, the trend also with the popularity of Starbucks and people going through the drive-through and having, what maybe they thought was a guilt-free, or not necessarily guilt-free, but they didn't realize, how many calories they're consuming with their frappuccino or their lattes. And it immediately seemed like another way to really help people, not have such a sugar-laden beverage that they're having every single day.
Outstanding. Yeah, no, I really do admire from the Facebook group through this just how much you and your brand do listen to your fan base, and apparently you're out there creating exactly what they asked for, and that's very, very admirable. I'm not sure if it's a scientific question or not, maybe a kitchen question, but can you talk a little bit about the development process, about how you actually create these amazing flavors once you decide the direction you're going in?
Sure. So we have several partnerships with different food labs, beverage labs, and it's a process where we start by verbally explaining to them what we're looking for, and it kind of starts there. We have a big panel, and we company we started come at the company basis, and we just do a lot of tasting, and it often takes quite a bit of time because we take a lot of pride, of course, in making sure it tastes exactly what we were visualizing, and go from there. I mean, we can come up with anything from mermaid to unicorn, and we have these great relationships with different food labs across the country, and they make it happen. So it's just a slow, methodical approach of starting at the ground floor with the company, and then we have a larger tasting panel, and go from there until we find just the right mix.
That's incredible. In general, is there a common timeline it takes to get from concept to finished product, or do different flavors have different timelines?
Yes, it varies widely. I mean, there's been times where, it could take a couple months to it can take over a year, but I'd say, somewhere in between, probably on average about 4 to 6 months.
Wow. And just out of curiosity, I think obviously your finished flavors are all amazing, but are there a few or even several examples of flavors where the concept sounded interesting, and then by the time you were working on it months later, you just realize, wow, either this flavor isn't going to work out, or we could enhance in a different way? But is there a lot of trial and error, and is there a lot of starting off with, let's say, 30 flavors, and then you find out that several of those just they're not as strong as we hoped they would be? Does that happen, or do you find a way to make that flavor amazing?
Oh, it happens all the time. I mean, I think, especially in the beginning, I mean, we're innovating constantly, and, trends change fairly quickly. And I think we've been fortunate with the robust website where we can test things quite easily and pivot easily, has allowed us to launch so many flavors. So, I mean, there's been a lot of opportunities, and where, yes, we've launched things. I mean, we've launched everything from popcorn to cold brew, where by the time that it launched, we decided to pivot quite quickly, and not continue to pursue it, and really focus on something else that's on trend at that time. I mean, I think being a small company and be able to pivot, we can really stay on trend. So it happens quite frequently. Yes.
And one last, sticking on margarita mixes for just one more second. Are there any teases as to what flavors might be next or might be in the future?
Well, at the show here, we're launching 4 new of our naturally sweetened flavors. So we're launching French vanilla, caramel, peppermint mocha, and pumpkin spice. And maybe some new seasonal offerings after that. But I mean, we're constantly innovating, constantly looking at new categories. So, I mean, there's not going to be any shortage of anything new yet to come. But for now, that's, what we have in the pipeline. But yes, many more new exciting launches for 2020, the end of 2023 and 2024. I don't know. I can let Dana chime in if she wants to add anything else to that.
Yeah. So we have, so Jordan shared 4 that we're really focused on and will be big entrants for us. And so those are our features, but just to show the breadth of kind of how fast and quick this Skinny Mixes innovates, we've got 3 more flavors coming out from May onwards, not including those flavors. So we are rapid fire innovation and constantly coming out with new flavors. Some are limited time offers, right? Some are just very seasonal. And our consumers love it because it creates a really huge demand when they're launched, and then they sell out and we move on sometimes to the next thing. And then other flavors just do incredibly well, and we decide to put them into the everyday portfolio.
That's incredible. I love the innovation. Switching over to coffee, especially because it's an early morning for all of us right now, and thank you again for your flexibility. Let's talk about what inspired you to go with coffee syrups, and then as well as I know you have some new flavors launching there as well that I'd love to talk a little bit about how they were decided on. There's obviously some classic favorites in there, and hear about the inspiration behind those flavors.
Yeah. So I heard the original question about also why we decided to do coffee syrups in general. So originally, 11, 12 years ago, the company started with cocktail mixes. That was how the company originally came up, or I originally decided to start this company was with cocktail mixes. And quickly, the trend also with the popularity of Starbucks and people going through the drive-through and having, what maybe they thought was a guilt-free, or not necessarily guilt-free, but they didn't realize, how many calories they're consuming with their Frappuccino or their lattes. And it immediately seemed like another way to really help people, not have such a sugar-laden beverage that they're having every single day. And that's why coffee syrups was developed. And then, of course, cocktail mixes is so seasonal. Coffee syrups is something that, consumers consume daily. So it was a natural extension for the product line with the coffee syrups. And so that's where that concept came from. And then as far as the flavors, just again, listening to the trends and of course, looking at the popularity of the most popular flavors just through our consumer panel and, just having a great team that's out and about and looking at menus and using some common sense, if you will, and
Sure.
reading up on trends. It's a 3-pronged process or